Esports is competitive gaming. Imagine playing really any video game you ever enjoyed playing, but playing it competitively to the best of your abilities. The Esports Club, though, we're more than just competitive teams. We host gaming for everybody. We just want people to come out, play games, have fun, and then hopefully host a few good teams that might win a few championships for the school.
We are definitely developing and pushing to build and develop that infrastructure that a lot of other clubs already have. Whatever skill level you are, you can come out, have fun, compete, don't compete. We welcome anyone.
There's not really a spot elsewhere for people to just play video games. Our club is definitely like all-inclusive, so if you're like even just a casual gamer that games, an hour a day or an hour a week, it doesn't really matter. You can come and play and make friends, so that's really what it's all about.
A club like this is meant to bring games out of the dorm room and meet other people, make friends. We do game nights every other Friday night. You'll get an opportunity to play some games you've never played and meet some people you wouldn't meet otherwise. So if you're interested in gaming, come on out to the club and see what it's about.
Hello everybody and welcome to the EGF broadcast. I am Tiny Shiny, joined by Tenric to bring you tonight's Rocket League matches. And man, we have a banger to start us off with.
Yeah, it's a great opening to a stream that we're trying to wrestle back. Unfortunately, due to spring break, there's been a couple conflicts in the schedule, so we'll have a bit of a longer block of a break after this matchup. But I think it's going to be worth that wait because Cincinnati versus Tennessee, two teams that are vying for really solid playoff seed and getting to duke it out. This is going to be a really good one. Already starting out with a shot from Mikey, the follow-up directly after UTK, trying to put one on the board early.
Oh yeah, we're already straight into this one. UTK put that pressure on early, but they're having trouble gaining control once again. Mikey did knock it up, has a nice toss off the back corner, looking to get it in the center, but just a little too low to get it off. So Barry firing it down to the other end, and no one is there to get in time. And UC, they're putting themselves on the board early.
That's a nice quick reversal off of the failed back pass. UTK already had too much commitment, and Barry had too much air. Trimmy unable to fully counteract that. UTK falling behind after some very early aggression. Tennessee currently 6th here in the EGF, 10-2 record. Cincinnati also a 10-2 record, but the highest ranked out of the teams with that record. They sit 4th in the standings. So UTK really trying to grapple back, find everything that they can, and knock another Eastern Division team down a peg or two.
And this is big because not only is it a record thing, it's also a conference match that UTK and UC are in. So these wins are going to be even more important for how the remainder of the season. There's only a couple weeks left remaining, so it's a lot of pressure on these players to put up a strong performance today, solidify themselves, get every little bit they can out of the regular season to set themselves up well for the playoffs. And UC already with an early lead has really been doing a great job keeping the ball down in their own offensive end. And UTK, they've been on the back foot trying to clear this ball, but they're being denied left, right, and center. Eventually, Barry will get it back up, wants to get another one in. Mikey, nice shot off to the other side, looking to get it in the corner, but nobody's really in that position to follow up as Timmy is met mid-air. Side, looking to take it back down to the other end, blocked out by Hermes. Very back and forth so far, but at least it's room for UTK to kind of breathe and get it out of their own offensive end because so far it's all been UC in terms of ball control.
Yeah, UTK is a really invasion-based team when it comes to their roster. They really like getting inside the cracks and crevices that are set up previously. So the fact that UC is doing a good job at maintaining this front line and not really letting UTK take any more space, just bottling up everything from these defensive cycles is really working in Cincinnati's favor for the most part. And as you said, not much more time in this season to prove your case for the playoff finals. I mean, this is the third to last week, and Cincinnati has Delaware next week, followed up by RIT. So a tough season ahead for them. Meanwhile, Tennessee has, Cincinnati has RIT, Tennessee has Delaware in that last week, and then Cincinnati has Delaware, and Tennessee has Howard in the next week's games. So some tough matchups for both of these schools. Not a lot of guaranteed wins necessarily, and this one is no different. Cincinnati really wants to make sure that this record's pegged down so they can play better gatekeepers going into the tail end of this season. 2 minutes left to go, and after a double demo, it's back in UTK territory. Trimmy losing out on it. There's been a bit of a dry out in a lot of these corner boosts as well. Cincinnati's done a great job of just controlling all the territory that they need to, and a solid 50 will give them some more possession to work with.
They're already down way past that halfway mark, and in Cincinnati, they're up 1. They don't really need to keep doing what they're doing. They can afford to play a little bit more defensive, not being as attack-focused as we saw in the initial start of the match. As well, though, they're looking to keep up the pressure. UC, last time they played Tennessee back in week 10, it was a Tennessee victory at a 3-1, if I remember correctly. So, Cincinnati, they're looking to even up that score and take another point in that conference match, and they're in a good spot to do it now as the time continues to dwindle down. Still up on that 1 point. Dax and Barry, some nice air work to get that done. Great job keeping the control. Hermes back to the center field. Nice self pass off that left wall, but it's thrown back into the ceiling. Trimmy just gets there in the nick of time to knock it away, and UTK, they've really got to start putting their foot on the gas now, quite literally, to get it through, because there has been very few shots from their side so far, and it really shows.
Cincinnati's still just been playing for suppression, and that's how you're not only able to take the game, but the series along with it. You don't let Tennessee come up with any ideas, then they're going to be unable to score. Simple as that. Mikey is alone in this 50 versus Barry. Trimmy going to try and support, but UC plays to break out, and they will with just 30 seconds left on the clock. All they have to do is hold on.
Barely any time remaining. If UC, you just got to keep it out of their own net, and they are set to go. Take away round number 1, one step closer to a win in a 1-3 series. Don't even need to get the extra one. All they're doing, they're just keeping the ball away from UTK, out of their grasp, unable to do anything. These demolitions through, they reset those positions. It's not easy with all the time that's remaining. UC, they're in a good spot, knocking it down, and will take a 1-0 victory in round number 1.
And I really want to see this scoreboard for that first game. Yeah, Cincinnati dominating that offense. That's 7 shots to 3, and Tennessee just consistently on the ropes, unable to really get out of their own corners. But there were some weak hits we saw from Cincinnati, and when Tennessee was able to take that ball back, they did so very quickly. So Cincinnati not able to let up one bit. They breathe for a second. Tennessee's going to take a mile.
And that's what you see with the highest levels of Rocket League teams. There's a reason that these are both contenders for those top spots right now, is that you're starting to look less at those really strong plays, but more at those tiny mistakes, those little gaps you can find in that competitive play. And it becomes even more important at the tougher the opponent you have, because those are the ones that they're going to punch through that window and continue to tear that hole even wider. Take every bit of advantage they can get. UC up 1 here as we begin our second round of play. UTK going to be looking to even it up.
Good start post kickoff to make sure that UC can't break through onto their corners immediately. Bumped up from Psy to the backboard. This is the setup that Cincinnati's looking for, but Hermes has a good counter action. So UTK is able to play defensively here. Trimmy taking it from midfield, going to try and carry it the whole way through. Attempted pogo. Doesn't fully succeed though. Just grabs that space, and Mikey's going to try and turn into something more worthwhile. Barry, though, can boot it away, and now the full boom coming from Cincinnati. They pull as a 3-man unit as well, attempting to corral from midfield, but that's not successful either. Mikey tries to chase it, can't finalize, and there's your first back and forth long minute of this game.
We're already farther into this. You can see that UC, they're struggling to keep that control more. UTK, they're finding that opening to really work with, and Mikey and Hermes, they're doing a great job of controlling that. Nice hit down the center from Mikey. Barry will get that one out of the way, but it's straight into the grasp of Trimmy. Nice air dribble. Side there. Take it out of their control. Looking to chase it down, but can't find that spot. Nice foot over. Oh, that was insane. A nice drop over the top. Couldn't really do anything about it. Mikey just thought they were going to go straight over. Nope, Psy is too good for that one. And that will be UC setting themselves on the board early once more.
A great first shoot to also allow for the time for the rest of UC to come in and play for that support to get that demo in the long run, along with that attempted continued bump onto Mikey too. Attempted goal from Trimmy to start things out post kickoff here. UTK already very gung-ho here, but cannot get fully counteracted as Mikey holds it down from midfield. And Cincinnati, they found their way in on top of these bluffs and these whiffs that UTK has fallen prey to in this first minute and a half, but Cincinnati, they also missed a good couple key shots and passes, so entirely possible for Tennessee to reverse that flow. Still 3 minutes on the clock for them to do that, and a good position that Hermes tries to dunk from, but it's boomed away again.
Just another opportunity to keep this one going. We're seeing a continued pattern. If you see they can get themselves on the board early, their confidence, it grows, and it really, you can reflect that on their play style. As you see, Psy here, they're not like incredibly concerned. We're seeing that they're playing more conservative, kind of back in the net, not really needing to do that. But regardless, Mikey and Trimmy will end that one in the back of the net. A nice air dribble over the top, set it up perfectly for Mikey, who was just waiting for that opportunity to come through, and that's exactly the plays that we need to see from UTK.
A nearly 1.5 game-long drought finally ended by UTK. Can they turn it into a W, or is UC just gonna pull right back? 2.5 minutes to go now as D-Hax launches one up from midfield. Not velocity behind it though, so Hermes can easily catch up, and Cincinnati does not have a stable cycle, or maybe they do if Psy can complete. No, not just yet, but they try to hold down the corners. They try to keep it going right here. They don't want to wait for another chance. They want this lead back now, but UTK will punish for how brash that is, and so Mikey can whiff. Unfortunately, Cincinnati saved from that counterattack, but UTK ready to rile up a couple more, and Cincinnati has to do that work to find the lead all over again if they want to keep this suppressed.
They gave themselves the opportunity early on. They just need to follow through. We've seen so many of these shots go in, but that's the one that will land. We needed to see the follow through, and that is what Cincinnati will deliver. A nice shot to Dax, essentially wide open. Hermes couldn't turn around fast enough, and that's just how it goes, Tenric. We're going to see these turnarounds so quickly, and UC, though, that's the thing here. Are they going to be able to maintain the lead? Because it seems like UTK have found something out on their own.
But we've still just been playing Cincinnati's game. UTK only able to make this amount of space because UC opened themselves up like that. If those mistakes are bottled up, then there's no telling how much they could run away with this. But UTK has been able to play at least defensively to a point where they can force some of these Cincinnati errors. Unfortunately, when it comes down to skill ceilings, Cincinnati's just been better this match so far. And if that doesn't change internally, then UTK is going to be out in 3 no matter how many mistakes Cincinnati makes. 70 seconds now to go. Another attempted recovery for Tennessee. They've been able to find so many, and Mikey, off a beautiful trade chow, will be able to tie things back up again.
And that is exactly what UTK needed at this point in time. Oh, you see, that was just a pile of things going wrong from them, and UTK took perfect advantage of it, and will tie it up just as we're about to enter this final minute here. We're getting very close, and honestly, I wouldn't be too shocked if we went into an overtime at the rate we're going.
Oh, Psy, a beautiful launch to D-Hax. What a pop-up. That is so instantly and easily finished off. Such coordination from that squad, and I mean, Tennessee, they launched everything they had at that one, didn't they?
Yep.
Once again, slate wiped clean, and then Cincinnati just writes all over it again. 55 seconds to go. Can they hold it down?
Cincinnati just simply can't be happy with the tie is the question, but UTK, they're going to put one right back in it. So many goals are coming through this late game. Feeling the pressure, and that was really just all Trimmy. That is pure mechanical skill right there. Straight into that left corner, not an easy spot to access, and UTK, they're giving themselves a chance. They do not want to drop another round. Psy, it's going to be the one. Psy and Barry up on the top left. Be interrupted by Hermes. Could be knocked back around. It's all about keeping that control in the defensive end. UTK, if they can get it out of their system, that's what they need to do. But this is where Cincinnati, they thrive. They thrive when they're on that tie. When they feel that pressure, it seems like it gives them a serious advantage, and it will just do that. Dax finds the pockets of an opening, and once again, UC, they're up by 1.
Breakthrough after breakthrough, this team just continues to conquer a little bit more. If this is what it has to come to, Cincinnati, then we will go there, and then we'll go even farther. 25 seconds left. Will they continue to hold it down, or has this fully evolved into a shootout? Cincinnati doesn't look to be going no holds barred, but Tennessee needs to at this point with 15 seconds left on the clock and still no control. D-Hacks back to Sai. Hermes interrupts, trying to gun down his Mikey, but it's 50'd back out. Trimmy holds it upstairs. Barry has control of it. Cincinnati may just be able to kill it here. Instead, Hermes might take that credit. No, D-Hack steals it back, and Cincinnati is sitting pretty on match point.
Wow, this is just Cincinnati coming up. They really want this win. You can just see it in the way that these guys are playing today. And man, I think, what do we say? In the first half of that game, we had a total of 2 goals scored, 1 apiece, and then we came up with another 5 in the latter half. That seriously says something about how this game went. And this next one, I think that Tennessee, they're clearly improving. They're getting better. They're actually able to get themselves on the board, but they're just not closing it out, Tenric.
Yeah, they've broken this game wide apart. We know that fact by now, but the question is, can Tennessee really afford to do that at this point with the way that Cincinnati can just break everything right back? They are willing to go the distance wherever Tennessee wants to take them, and yet they'll still make it their game. That's still the storyline that we've seen so far. Cincinnati have been the protagonists, and Tennessee have just been one step behind. But now, on match point, they need to clutch up. They very well could. They are up here at the same position as Cincinnati for a reason. Cincinnati breaching the corner, but Sai will get demoed, so only one side controlled. They'll still try to turn it into something, but Trimmy can babysit it over to the other end and keep it safe for Tennessee.
He's going to get that one back down to their side. They can take a little bit of a breath, but they need to keep that pressure up. They want a chance to do so. Mikey, it's just a race to who can get that boost, who has the resources to actually contest the ball in the sky. And right now, it's Dax. We're going to get it in the net. Nice spot from Trimmy, though, but it's still in the control of UC. Mikey wants to change that around and then straight back to their own opponent. However, meeting it up in the sky. We're seeing a bit more of this neutral game. We've gone over a minute without seeing anything on the board. Much more of this trade back and forth for control. It doesn't feel nearly as oppressive as we've seen in the past. However, you see they're playing the game. They have these resources. You can see how they're just going for these corner boosts. They're keeping it under their control. And that's the reason they have resources like this, because they just caught UTK with the net wide open down the back. And that is why that is so important to control that boost and find that point.
I could see the plan forming in Tennessee's head right in front of me. We all could, but they just could not complete. I think that was Hermes that was unable to jump up to find that final shot from midfield. It was such a great cycle setup. It was very stagnant and very static. Tennessee really unable to counter it because, as you said, Tennessee, they've started to play more mechs. They've started to play a bit more slowly, and they've been able to not really have to be locked out by Cincinnati in order to really succeed. Despite that, though, with the breakaway coming from that mechanical offense that Tennessee was just so close to finishing, you have to wipe that sweat off your brow at this point and keep trucking, because you only have 3 minutes to save yourself from even being beaten in regulation. And it might have just gotten a little harder if D-Hacks was able to make that double dunk, but unfortunately, all they have to settle for is petty possession, which Sai will maintain. Barry will also do so, and Cincinnati are starting to plaster their name all over this game as well.
They're doing it. They got the goal that counted, and that's their confidence soaring up. UTK is their last chance to get in, and they will find that 1 point needed to tie it up. Hermes got in. Dax had a nice clear, but just a clear wraparound. It only takes so many before one will eventually land its shots. And UTK, they're fighting for their life in this match right now. This would be really, really big for either of these teams to have a win here, because that would push them up in the rankings majorly. They're going to jump spots with how even they are, and UC, they're the ones who want it more.
Wow, a posthumous apology for such a lousy whiff in order to defend against that first goal from Tennessee. D-Hacks is just like, fine, I'll do it myself, and gets the flip from the reset. Absolutely immaculate stuff coming from Cincinnati. Yet again, they have just defied expectation again and again after those times that they encounter those speed bumps. Holding it down for the first half of this game with a 1-goal lead. Will they continue it and clinch out the series in sweep fashion? They already may have a breakaway opportunity if Trimmy cannot fully stop this, and he can't, but Sai has to make him, and Trimmy is able to actually put the stopper down. Mikey getting demoed though, so UC can maintain control at least for the next coming seconds, and every single one of those is so important right now, because Cincinnati can burn away so much of it in favor of just taking the match here and now.
can afford it. They have a chokehold around UTK. And they're not going to let it up. Trimmy was going for the double tap there. It's a little bit off target. And for that resurgence as Hermie escorts it down, sees the red net in sight. Monkey's there trying to help, but is moving so slowly, nobody can even get it in contact. Finally, it will be Sai, and Barry will happily take that one, happy to play a more fast-paced game that UC has preferred so far, because they're the ones that are in control. They're controlling the pace of the ball, of the positioning, and it overwhelms their opponents. UTK, they've been on the back foot consistently this whole match. They're able to fire back. 90 seconds, all that's remaining, though. The gap is much less wide than it may seem at this point. All it takes is going to be one. Well, actually, really two if you want to close it out, but one will get you in overtime if UC doesn't strike back first.
UTK is just going for fake outs nearly every time they have possession back. It is so funny watching them trying to time things out, and it's suspenseful for sure. UC is definitely quaking in their boots a little bit, but that affords them too much time to reset as well. And with this possession still being pretty favorable towards Cincinnati, it's looking pretty dire at this point as Mikey will lose control here. 45 seconds to go. UTK has gained more space, but can they find the goals atop it? DHax will be forced to back pass after an attempted breakaway from Tennessee to start things out. Can they get something going here to tie things up?
It's not really a measure if they can. It's kind of more of a statement that they have to. If you want to win this match out, or at least have a chance at doing so, something has to happen within these next 23 seconds to be able to do so. But right now, Dax is the one with the ball control. Trimmy is desperate to get it out of their own end, but they simply cannot. UTK, yes, they're going to get the clear, but they don't have the control. It's one thing, it's just straight back to another UC player. 6 seconds for it to be a full sweep. We're playing keep away right now, Tenric. They're not even trying to go for the points. They're just trying to keep it away from their opponents and close it out right here with Cincinnati with quite a decisive 3-0 over UTK. And that is really something to be said about considering the last time these two teams met.
Yeah, I mean, what a statement made by Cincinnati. They sat atop the standings going into this match, and now they sit atop them, leaving it as well. UTK getting dropped to their third loss of the entire season, I believe. But that top six is such an untouchable group despite that. The Tennessee still going to be just fine playoff prospect-wise. In the meantime, though, Cincinnati looking even better now. They are an 11-2 team, which I don't think puts them above any of the teams in the top three, but puts them right next to them. So big congratulations to them.
And that's going to be a great setup with how little time that's remaining in the regulation season. These wins, they're going to matter so much. And it's not an easy road for either of these teams. They have a tough path paved ahead just because the opponents they face. And we're going against the undefeated first place team right here. I mean, that's a mountain to climb, certainly. But this is one step closer. You got halfway. You just need to get all the way over the top to close it out. But Tenric, I believe that we're getting ready to wrap up our match here today. But we're looking to hear from one of the players on U Cincinnati.
Nope, no interview.
Never mind, no interview today.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and go to a quick break. Actually, it's not gonna be a quick break. It's gonna be a very long break. We're gonna start our next game at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Septilence is gonna hop in for Tiny as we watch Southern Utah University take on University of Southern California when we come back. Again, 8 p.m. EST. Don't miss out.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the EGFC Rocket League. I'm still Septilence, that's still Tenric, and this is still going to be a fantastic series. Now, it's only one series from us, but there's one more after, so don't go anywhere. We've got the Battle of the South here, Southern Utah University versus University of Southern California. Before we jump into that, Tenric, how are you doing? How is your day today?
I'm still feeling good. I'm riding high after that Cincinnati display that we got to see a little over an hour ago now, but hopping into this matchup, this is another one that we think is going to be really close, but a team could totally run away with this because both these teams have such good runaway potential. It's University of Southern California and Southern Utah University, the 12th and 13th placed teams right now respectively. So I mean, a lot's on the line for this game, arguably. This is who can gatekeep the middle of the pack and who may be swept away from playoff contention. This match can mean a lot for both these teams.
Yeah, this is going to be a really important match, like you said. Well, we may be a little bit, toward the middle, toward the bottom. They're still mathematically very close to one another, so this could be a very low-scoring affair as these teams are going to consistently go punch for punch, blow for blow, and goal for goal. 40 seconds off the clock. A great setup from D-Town, but unfortunately, nobody from Southern Utah is there for the follow-up. Looking for a secondary attempt from D-Town, up into the corner, off the wall itself, and into goal. 42 seconds missing. Southern Utah up by 1.
A lot of Southern Utah's losses, despite the fact that they're even, come from forfeits. They've had a lot of obligations prior to this, especially in the beginning of the EGF season, so they were starting with like an 0-4 record going into things, but then they really started leveling up. They started taking a lot more names, kicking a lot more butt, and they've been more consistent in the EGF than a lot of the teams that may be even higher than them in the standings. And USC may be no different, a team that is just barely in the positive, but may get dragged down to that very same even record that Southern Utah boasts right now going into this matchup. Is right now, Southern Utah is driving circles around this team.
Without a doubt. And I'd hate to use the word rock bottom because in essence it's not, but breaking even is something you often want to avoid when you're above it, right? When you've got that net positive gain in your win column, you want to keep it that way. But as I mentioned earlier, goal for goal will certainly be happening. About a minute later, we see another goal coming out from the side of USC. Southern Utah's got the tie up here. A great demolition in D-Town. Can't find that defense in time. We're tied up 1-1 all over again.
That was a sick touch as well to boost that ball a little bit quicker, give it a little more room to get shot there. Good timing by USC. Great recovery after long-winded possession by SUU. They've got to keep holding it down. Otherwise, Southern Utah is going to continue to farm these opportunities and play that attrition out, dry out these corner boosts. But Squid with a breakaway. Hawken having to corral by countering from midfield, and the corner has been stolen again by USC here. Big back and forths coming through, but Southern Utah can indeed bleed and still has to defend what record they're able to hold on to so far this season. USC has a lot to say about this.
USC looking for another goal on the back of Rebel there. Clearly a front runner for this squadron, but Southern Utah, like you said, answering every goal that comes out with a great defensive play of their own and keeping things tied up at that 1-1. 1-1, we always call it that complicated 0-0 because at the end of the day, it really and truly is. Somebody's got to have that 1-point advantage, and it looks like it's going to go to Southern Utah, at least for the time being.
Great hesitation there by D-Town to get that full reset. It's not often you get to do that in the middle of a game here in EGF, but if you have the time, if you have the faith in your teammates, which D-Town absolutely did to continue making sure that USC was psyched out, then you're able to get the job done. And great start up there for SUU, already going to win this kickoff here, and VTR forced to take a pretty unoptimized position. The double pinch is saved by Rebel, but USC in the halfway mark of this game is once again behind, and Southern Utah trying to twist that knife a little deeper. Can't do it as consistently as I think they really wanted to, and it just goes to show why USC is so good at being another middle-of-the-pack team, simply because a lot of teams are mechanically very much better than them, but USC's ability to just play very stalwart and play for defense has been really helpful to them this season. They just refuse to let so many teams score on them.
We are well into the second half of game number 1. Remember, folks, this is a best-of-5 series, a.k.a. first team to win 3 games walks away victorious here tonight. Southern Utah, they're in a complicated spot because we often see a circumstance in which, they can win by 1. Many times we will see a team do just that. They don't want to overextend. They don't want to overplay their hand, and they don't want to let go of the defense they've been holding on to. I think, Tenric, if I had to put ball control in kind of a percentage here, we may be looking at something as drastic as a 70-30, the way Southern Utah is continuously controlling exactly where this ball ends up.
I will say, though, USC has these little interruptions that they're able to kind of sprinkle into Southern Utah's attack, so that it's never one full-fledged cycle that they've got going. They've kind of got to keep resetting and get those little setbacks over with. But Southern Utah's done a great job at sort of just recovering over and over from those setbacks and eventually turning it into a goal, which D-Town will now do for the second time this game. It's 3-1 Southern Utah.
3-1 Southern Utah, 72 seconds remain here in game number 1, and things are definitely feeling good for Utah. It starts slow. They're not able to get the momentum they want out the gate, but patience was clearly key at the end of the day. They find themselves up by 2, and with only 70 seconds to respond, 35 seconds per goal needed from the side of USC to just tie things up, let alone one more to win the game.
D-Town brings it back around here. Southern California, once again, has been able to take space, but how long can they do it? How convincingly can they do it? Good bounce back that Rebel is forced to take high, but USC is really good at controlling that airspace. Rebel, in particular, has done really well with these aerial 50s, but can he drive it in alone? Needs a little more help, actually, in order to do so, and so Southern Utah are able to go for the back pass themselves, which Silent will handle pretty well up until that corner, where Rebel is actually going to intervene. And USC have fewer opportunities at this point, but they've generated some buzz. They've forced SUU out, and here's another bounce. That's a beautiful shot that Squid takes, and there's 19 seconds, but this is absolutely winnable.
Yeah, clean as a whistle from Squid there. Hits it down from the center field right into the goal of Southern Utah, which was just left a little open. Silent stays silent, doesn't jump up trying to play a defense, but goes down quietly with the rest of the team. Fenric, I think you said it best, 20 seconds remain, but that is more than enough time to find just one goal. They've done it twice, one more to tie things up and force an overtime for game number 1.
Hawkin trying to kamikaze there. The very end has to keep it alive. VTR the first to do it. Does USC have the boost to even keep up with this? Rebel doesn't even have any of the tank at this stage, has to follow the bounce up, and so won't get too much altitude, nor will they get much support at all. In fact, the ball will bloop back into USC's goal, and Southern Utah will re-cement a 2-goal lead here in game number 1.
Yeah, a 2-goal lead to win game number 1 is exactly how Southern Utah wanted to win this. They've started strong, and they're looking to continue that throughout. Things getting a wee bit shaky toward the end of game 1, but a win is a win. That's a strong start from Southern Utah. Southern California keeping it close, but unfortunately close, never going to cut it. We are looking at, what is that, 14 shots on goal compared to 7 from the side of Southern California, so double the amount from Southern Utah. Really goes to show how much ball control this team continued to have throughout this game.
Yeah, this was a really commanding performance from Southern Utah University, interspersed with some really shining moments from Southern California. But it all comes down to how consistently can you pull those moments out, and USC just wasn't able to keep up with Southern Utah most of the time. I don't know if that's going to be able to continue during this series, though. We saw a lot of great defensive capability coming through from California, and they have every right to just pat themselves on the back, say, GG, go next. They have the capacity to hold things down, and again, their defense is one of the best in the league, in my opinion. But Southern Utah's been able to breach it 4 times already this series. Can they continue to do so and get us out of here pretty quickly?
Yeah, I was going to say, our players hitting us with a good old salty run back. Hardly 60 seconds between games number 1 and 2, but they want to make sure they are warmed up and they stay that way if the break elongates throughout those games. Sometimes a player can feel their momentum kind of dropping a bit, something clearly these teams want to avoid. Southern Utah has ball control out the gate, but VTR steals it away, pass down towards center field, and it's D-Town trying to play that defense all over again. Can't quite find the opening, but flips to the offense to boot, and a double commit from USC keeps us at that 0-0 score. Not for long, though. Full disclosure, am not even sure how that just happened.
Oh, Rebel bounced it off of D-Town.
You know what they say? It really do be like that sometimes. It really do. That's a tough one.
What a bounce, dude. That is, I mean, wow. That's nuts.
Yeah, you think you're lucky stars for that one if you are on the side of USC, because they have given you another sign of life and another opportunity to continue carrying this series forward. Pressure's on, though. First time you've had a lead, how long are you going to be able to keep it before Southern Utah finds a goal of their own? VTR has to play very carefully there, making sure there's no overextension from their side, as that could have caused an own goal, but keeping us at that 1-0 scoreline. Rebels defense continues to carry this story forward for USC.
But Southern Utah, they're starting to breach. They're starting to get back in. They're starting to get aggressive. VTR can stop from the woodwork, but the push is continued. Silent again. D-Town stopped. by VTR. Squid following to the corner. D-Town going for the kick. Is there somebody from the cycle? No. Southern Utah's reset, but that leaves time for Hawken to come back and keep the drive going. Silent will recover again from midfield. Maybe an attempted dunk. No, it's a bluff. VTR can't recover it. Hawken bluffed away from the demo from D-Town, and it still doesn't get the job done. An iron wall thrown up as USC booms the ball back over to the red corner.
Yeah, A for effort there, though. Very intelligent play from the side of Southern California. Unfortunately, Southern Utah plays just one step ahead. They keep things tied up. They keep it close, and it's still going to be 1-0. 2 minutes missing, 0 points for Southern Utah. They do not want this to go out. If they can win this second game, they can put themselves in a very comfortable spot to walk away with a 3-0. But there's a million worlds where that can fall apart before their very eyes. They've got to figure something out, and they've got to regain a lead here in game number 2 with only 3 minutes left.
Silence got a big boot, but there's no way Southern Utah is going to be the first to get back over there. That's not the point, though. The point is getting that control back, getting that possession, and making sure that they can keep it as long as possible. As VTR is a little too low for this. Nice ceiling shot that VTR is actually able to boom away. Hawken drives it right back, and there's better setup for Southern Utah. Squid has to solo defend, and will do that. Silent clashes, stuck in the corner, and Silent actually almost recovers that, but too much commitment actually leads to a ball gone awry that VTR can very easily poke into the center stage. Hawken barely able to save it, but now look at all this space handed back over to Southern California. Southern Utah back to square one with 2 minutes to go, and now a demo as well from Squid.
A demolition is going to be able to take somebody from Southern Utah down. Squid desperate to take this team into a Game 2 victory for at the very least a Game 4. But Southern Utah, I feel like they're actually starting to panic a little bit. Faster momentum here, a little less communication has made it harder for that team to succeed. A great tap in, turns to a double and turns to a tie-up for Southern Utah. 2 minutes left, 1-1 on the board. We have been here before, and I'll tell you what, USC did not like the ending of that song. They'd like to rewrite it right here and win game number 2.
But that goal was close in Southern Utah. Again, they're finding themselves unable to get away with more and more. Southern California has put up more blockades. Can they keep this charade going? Or will Southern Utah run into too many complications? Will USC turn this into a real series? They've already turned these into very real games that Southern Utah has happened to run away with in the bitter end after just constant back and forth. But Southern California were the first to strike, and now with only 90 seconds to go, this game has been a little bit quieter.
Yeah.
Rebel, a little bit of a faulty pinch there, so Southern Utah has a little more time with this ball, but nothing decisive, and that's the key part of this, is the fact that Southern Utah is starting to also respect things a lot more.
A bit of a quiet game so far has been working well for Southern California, and like you said, almost forcing Utah into a circumstance where they have to commit, they have to respect the choices being made by USC. Game 1 was a little rough, but that's the beauty of it. It's only game 1, and you've got at least 2 more to try and turn things around for your squad, which is exactly what USC is trying to do. Hawken misses that goal, keeps us at 1-1 with only a minute left on the clock. Something's got to give, and one of these teams is going to walk away with a game 2 loss. I'm surprised to say I have no idea who is going to beat Southern Utah. Like you said, a complete lack of the dominance they showed us back in game 1.
Great to see both these teams really putting their backs into it. They understand how much this match may mean. Being over that 500 mark, getting you into the contention spots that so many of these teams have been vying for, that so many of these teams have found openings for in this spring season. The standings really being shaken up. Silent laser that Rebel can put a stop to. 25 seconds now as Hawken continues possession for Southern Utah's favor, but it's weaker. It's one man at a time. It's not sustainable, and so USC can get out of it.
USC breaks away in a critical moment here. We might be seeing our first overtime. I thought it was going to be game number 1, but game number 2 feels a little more likely. Down to the single digits. Somebody now has to score in what is often referred to as the garbage time. D-Town gets a great setup into the corner. The double tap comes through. The waterfall opens up, and Silent spikes it into the ground, just shy of goal. Reset into overtime, and the clock starts now counting up until somebody finds that extra goal for a game 2 win.
I'll tell you what, USC certainly happy that clock ran out right there, because that was looking like an absolutely gorgeous dunk. You cannot give Southern Utah that opportunity again, but just like that, they've already taken it. D-Town starting to make that ground, but a little bit of a traffic jam actually leads to a retreat that will force Silent to defend early on, and USC will take so much more control. VTR whiff for the century, and Southern Utah escapes defeat for now.
That is a very tough spot to be in, but VTR just can't find the lineup. Hawken goes for a block, able to find it. D-Town gets the trade demo, and as 30 seconds have come and gone, Southern Utah is looking to strike just once more. However, University of Southern California. They know their backs are against the proverbial wall here. If they lose this game, they will be down 0-2 on the series with only 1 to go. However, if they can break the curse, put a 1-1 on the board and tie up the series, this is absolutely anybody's game.
Oh, Rebel is going to tap it in! And USC have tied things up. Temporary inactivity from both of these teams has actually led to some great setups. And SUU, in a fleeting moment, abandons their goal. And it means the world for Southern California. We have a series on our hands now, folks.
Yeah, a great example of how much a single second can mean in a game like Rocket League. They dipped away for a second trying to block something else out, and it costs them that goal. They lose game number 2, and Southern Utah taking a game loss, tying the series 1-1. We told you guys these teams are 1 seed apart from one another, literally holding hands in the standings right now, and somebody's got to break, something's got to give, and it's not going to be a shutout by a long shot. We've got at least game number 4 on the horizon.
Yeah. Still a lot more Rocket League to play. Reminder that if you have the extra RAM, if you have another tab, be sure to open up EGF Rocket League on Twitch as well to catch the other games happening right now. Northern Arizona University, the absolute titan of the league at the moment, is facing off against the University of Montana. And then at 8:45 Eastern Standard Time, Washington State University will take on the CRL-bound UT Arlington. Should be some great matches with some amazing teams. Make sure to go check those out. But for now, keep your eyes glued here, because we're into Game 3, and both teams, some bombastic beginnings post-kickoff.
Some very strong beginnings for both these teams, like you said, Tenric, and if we see an early goal, it can definitely dictate which team starts to take the lead. Back in game number 1, momentum was all about Southern Utah. They slipped a little bit. They found some more respect for their opponents, and Southern California has continued to pepper themselves in. Hawken has a great lineup. It bounces off the side of the goal, and now nothing sits in their pocket. Still 0-0, but a strong start from Southern Utah. 2 failed attempts on goal.
Hawken dragged away. And Southern Utah, once again, retains possession. Silent has it in front. VTR a whiff. Hawken against the backboard and taps it back in. What a rebound to be found in this first minute of Game 3.
A great rebound, a great turnaround, and Southern Utah perhaps done playing with their food in this moment. They've decided we need to strike first and quickly, because the second we let them get a little bit of breathing room, they take it, they run with it, and we never see them again. And they don't want to see University of Southern California in a Game 5. They're going to have to end it here in 4, but that starts with Game 3. Only 1 goal left. They're looking for at least 2 to find the opportunity to give themselves that comfort blanket, that sense of safety in this second game, or this third game, excuse me. Let's see if they can keep up that momentum. It's going to be hard to play at full throttle like that for the next 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh, VTR. Wow. Brute force in that one. As USC, they find the beeline after, again, you win 1 simple 50. And that's where Southern Utah has struggled, playing this man-to-man defense, and that will lead to these occasional overwhelming bits of time where USC will just gang up on the right player at the right moment. But it all feels so circumstantial on either side at this stage. It is really, a lot of it is just waiting for the other side to make a mistake and capitalizing on that. There is another mistake right there as USC and Southern Utah will watch a little blooper head into the goal after Rebel will tap it past 2.
USC feeling strong about their chances, starting to notice a pattern here that we brought up a moment ago. Seeing that goal left open pretty darn often, and I think they've absolutely found their win condition. They've certainly noticed that their opponents really don't like to play inside of that goal and would much rather play the upfront hyper-aggressive play style. That, unbeknownst to them, is clearly working against them. Each time Southern Utah has left that goal open, Southern California has struck and put a point on the board. I mean, they don't even need one more if they didn't want it. They just need to make sure Southern Utah can't score. So maybe we see Southern California default back into a very heavy defense.
Demo from Silent. They hand the ball to Hawken in center field, but no power behind it. And it's a Rebel. D-Town going to defend on the woodwork. Hawken for the boom. But USC has overcondensed their cycle. In response, Rebel demos Silent, and the ball will head back over to the corner quite safely. SUU unable to recover it, and now none of the backup resources to keep that drive going. Instead, they'll have to counter boom, which they will do very well. And D-Town now sitting in front of things, edges it past both, but can't find the right angle. Instead, Southern Utah just has possession, which it looks like USC is going to try and get rid of as well. Will fail the first time around as D-Town wins off that, but Squid ricochets it back over to the corner, and once again, Southern Utah vies for possession to be converted, especially considering that with just 2:15 to go, they are still down.
It's a scary
Oh,
spot
there
to
it is.
be in, Tenric. They're down, but no longer. They said that was scary enough. Thanks for the scare, but we're ready to retake dominance here in this game. Half the game already gone. 2:11 left on the clock. 2-2 on the board, and Southern Utah keeping it close, tying us back up 2-2, but you've got to be careful because clearly Southern California continues to get better with each and every passing moment.
Another pickup from D-Town to begin. As USC spreading themselves, but not thin. VTR, solo control, may pay the price for it here as Hawken to D-Town,
Wowza.
and Southern Utah have pounced.
D-Town, that was a phenomenal tie-up there. Pounced is a great word for it. Hawken, the spike, D-Town for the follow-up, and even Hawken there for a triple tap if necessary. That goal was a shoo-in whether they wanted it to be or not. A phenomenal showing from Southern Utah as they move into the final 2 minutes of game number 3 with only a 1-point advantage. Finding just one more could increase their odds greatly of winning this third game.
And this may be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Honestly, both these teams may just start going goblin mode, and that is a start to it. Squid firing right back, and I have a feeling that this game is going to be pretty high scoring in these last 105 seconds.
Yeah, both teams feeling strong on the offense. Everybody maybe forgetting the defense just a little bit, but everybody wants to find that goal. Everybody wants that winning point as we reset to 3-3, 105 seconds left on the clock. The next point may be the very last that dictates which team walks away with this win. Truly anybody's game in this moment.
And by proxy, anyone's match. Hawk in the demo as the ball is in California territory, but Squid, great dribble and a good fake out to actually just get rid of the chain early, recognizing that it's too weak. So VTR can now bum rush it to the other end of the field before Hawken makes a nice long reach to save that as well. Rebel back to VTR, back in California territory, and Silent another demo for D-Town to set up, get over one, float into the corner, Rebel there just in time. A minute to go, still no scoring back, but it has been all Southern Utah on possession.
All Southern Utah all day long. They've got possession, but they're going to need a little bit more than that to find the goal. Oh, there it is. Silent off a D-Town, off defense, but the ball's momentum was simply too strong to be stopped in that moment. 54 seconds remain. Southern Utah up by 1 point, but each time they've scored, Southern California has answered quickly. With 54 seconds remaining, can they answer fast enough to at least force an overtime?
Wow, Squid came so close to being able to save that, but like you said, just too much power behind that punch, too much velocity. And again, D-Town this time,
Wow.
following it all the way down. That was incredible.
D-Town just absolutely wants to make sure the team can walk away with this second game win. It was too close in game 2. They lost it. Game 3 really going to be a breakneck speed of a game. And then all of a sudden, D-Town wakes up in the moment that arguably matters most. The final minute of the game belongs to Southern Utah. And that is the opening they needed to make sure they had a win here in game number 3.
Just hold on to this for 35 more seconds and you'll have match point. You'll have that lead back up. You'll have that security online once more, but it can feel like forever, can't it? As VTR will work off another boom that Silent partially may have helped a little bit in. Oh, that may be tragic if true.
Never a spot you want to be in, but a spot that Southern Utah finds themselves in once again. The pressure stacks against them. 29 seconds remain. I don't think you even go for a goal right now. I think you just guarantee your opponent can't either. That should be the name of the game for Southern Utah, especially as Southern California gets danger close to scoring. D-Town has to play a hard defense. VTR on the turnaround, up over one defender. Hawken able to catch it there on the secondary with 12 seconds left on the clock. Southern Utah needs to clear it down and fast to make sure Southern California has no chance at redemption here in game 3.
This is painful, how hard USC is working and how tough it is for Southern Utah. Up we go again, and here we go. VTR keeps it alive once. D-Town gonna try and kill it off the wall, but it's bounced back over to VTR. Off the backboard,
no.
Rebel for the dunk, back
Ain't no
inside.
way.
No! D-Town the clear, and then the kill. Southern Utah, they barely hold on, but God, Septilence, barely is an understatement.
Truly, barely is the name of the game right now for this squadron. Southern Utah wins at the skin of their absolute teeth on the line. That goal, the ball was probably 60% in goal. Has to be 100% to get the point, but holy cow, I don't know if I've ever seen it come closer than it just did without actually being scored at the end of it. Takes us all the way to Game 4, Tenerick, and right now, even with a 2-1 advantage, I think this is clearly anybody's series. Southern California keeping it breakneck close. It is not going to be, okay, they have 2, they win 3. Southern California has an insanely high chance of winning this 4th game and taking this series all the way, which would be great considering how many series we've not been able to see today.
Yeah, we have no idea where this is going. There is still so much potential for this match to get absolutely bonkers, and I'm 100% here for it. Hawken is going to try and start us off pretty quickly, but Silent is stopped, still connects with it, and VTR helps it into an own goal. 7 seconds in the first goal of the game.
That is just genuinely quite impressive. This is the 4th game, and this is the first time we've seen Southern Utah actually score off of the hyper-aggression like that. We've seen them go for it seemingly every single time, where they overextend, they go out, they try to play forward, and they try to get a goal out the gate. Hasn't exactly been their bread and butter, but this time in Game 4 it works. They've got a point advantage for the first time in a long time that they can really be proud of without having to work too hard for it. Southern California, though, the kind of downside of scoring so quickly is there's so much time for your opponent to answer back.
Yeah, USC has all the time in the world to just figure things out and keep this series alive. And only 1 goal behind with so much time to do it, but being anything more than that is dangerous territory.
Only 45 seconds missing in this moment, and Southern Utah might go for a small strike here. Double tap from Southern California. Nobody's there to catch it. And now it's Silent hurtling towards absolute open goal. Nobody home. Nobody even in the same zip code as that house, as Silent puts another one down for Southern Utah and increases their chances of winning once again.
That's really important. That is a very integral part of this game that has just now happened. And with this being potentially that last game here in the series, USC very much on the ropes. A lot of work to do in order to keep this alive and keep Southern Utah from continuing their such good ascension into the back half of this EGF season. Rebel, a beautiful bob and weave, my God! The pitch is his jungle gym!
Rebel does not just turn it on, Rebel turns it up, and Rebel shows up in a moment their team absolutely needed them most. Cuts the lead in half. All of a sudden, Southern Utah sweating just a bit. This is such a prime example of how little a 2-point lead can mean, because all of a sudden it's already separated by 1, and Southern California's got 3 minutes and 45 seconds to answer back. More than enough time to make that magic happen.
In D-Town, bringing it back again. VTR has to hold on, and USC has had to rely on these few people, these very tiny moments in order to succeed, but either side can say the exact same thing at this point. They've both grinded tooth and nail this far into the game, but this could very well be the last of it. But VTR wants to keep this school in, and with a very, very procedural drive off of a great pinch, VTR is able to find it somehow, and the game is tied.
VTR trying to make this series go FAR, just completely getting the lineup here. Southern California ties things up 2-2. 3 minutes remain. We talk about that threat. I've been saying it so much today. The constant threat of it being a circumstance in you've scored a point this much time. We've got more than half the game remaining, and Southern Utah looking for an opportunity to strike once again. You've had a lead. You've lost the lead. Now we're in a tied scenario, essentially 0-0. The next team to score is what matters most. Is it going to be Southern Utah again?
Oh, off the woodwork. USC, another scoring opportunity. They have leveled up once more. They are such a good clutching school. They have been this far back in the corner so many times before. And sometimes they've panicked, sometimes they've choked, but sometimes they have succeeded. They have brought it back. And they have done so in this game. 2:20 to take it even farther than SUU can. Take it to Game 5. They have another drive. Rebel the dunk. D-Town to save. But Southern Utah can't get a cycle going just yet. They have to keep letting USC take this back, at least for moments at a time, and make this space the same way that Southern California did, bit by bit, and on top of little errors that this team may make as Rebel is forced to go for an early save, but the double commit and Silent whiffing out. Actually, Silent's able to stop it. Southern Utah causing a bit of a frenzy in midfield. 105 seconds to go. 2 members of Southern Utah on the field. A relatively open net as Rebel will bring it up the wall. Can Southern California take it to a lead right here? Squid! D-Town comes in clutch in the last second.
Painful through and through. With the logistics we have so far, with the statistics we have on hand, we know that if this goes to an overtime, Southern California has a higher chance of winning it. They pop off in those overtime moments. Southern Utah, they're going to be in a 2-2 scenario as well. And with 75 seconds left on the clock, Southern Utah wants to win this. They want to wrap it up. They want to go home. And Southern California fighting tooth and nail for that slot, for that Game 5. And it'd be great to get a Game 5 considering how the rest of today has gone. We mentioned earlier we haven't been able to see as many teams as we wanted, so it would be nice, a bit of a surprise to hear from these teams all the way into a 5th game.
Yeah, this storyline still has a lot left to be written, and whether that's in the postseason or right here, I'm excited for it. 45 seconds, Southern California once again pounding on this door. They've made that a regular recurrence in the back half of this game. Hawken and VTR following each other. Hawken upstairs, early met by VTR as D-Town clashing in the corner. Attempted clear by VTR into the goal. Now Squid for the bounce. That's directly in. And Southern California have a lead with 25 seconds left.
25 seconds remain in the Game 5, seemingly just over the horizon. Southern Utah really beginning to crumble in these moments, and it's got to be maybe running the sprint instead of the marathon. They come out, they win Game 1 super hard. They just come out completely dominantly, and then all of a sudden, they crumble here in Game 4, going all the way to that 5th and final game of the series. A very unfortunate spot to be in unless these next 20 seconds work magic.
No, Rebel gets the first clear, so that's already a good 10 seconds burned away. D-Town has to get this past Rebel to start things out, and Rebel is a lot more stubborn than that. D-Town will succeed, though. Next up is VTR. Clears it back again, and we're back to square one with not much altitude, not much boost, and not much hope this game. Squid back into the goal again, and it's USC that will hand Southern Utah a 4-2 scoreline, the very same one that Southern Utah won in Game 1 with.
A bit of insult to injury there from Southern Utah. Absolutely beautiful turnaround on that hit. They win game number 4, and that guarantees us a Game 5. Folks, we promise you a close series in a team that is 1 seed separation away from each other, and holy cow, are we going to get it. 7 shots on goal compared to 4 from the side of Southern Utah. California has completely rewritten the script and flipped it on its head. It started strong with Southern Utah taking the lead, and each and every game, California has climbed back just enough more, just a little bit more, to keep this series alive, and now they have 5 more minutes, Tenric, to try and win it. By golly, is it now or never for this team?
How crazy is that it's like opposite score lines?
Yep.
As well. Because it was 4-2 and then 2-4 on the outside, and then on the inside, it was, that was what, like, what, I don't even remember what it was. But, it's an identical amount of goals scored so far this series, as well as an identical amount of games played. So, a tiebreaker to end all tiebreakers here for these two teams that are, again, neck and neck in the standings, literally directly next to each other. Such a big decider match that will be concluded in Game 5.
ETR came out early, made a lot of space for the team, but falls just a little bit short at the end of it. Can't get the goal, keeps us at the 0-0. 20 seconds missing, and these players playing with 130% right now, because you do never want it to get to a Game 5. And right now, for Southern Utah, they start strong. They have a lead the whole series. We're tied up 2-2, and this is going to be a spot you do not want to be in. This team needs to wake up, because truly, this is their last 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Make a name this week at EGF.
Back again in front of Southern Utah. Squid takes a second, but D-Town will not hesitate to boom it. Has been on the front line for so many of Southern Utah's recent efforts these games. Has really been such a rising star in EGF so far this season. And is going to try and lay it all out on the pitch here in Game 5. D-Town, the demo, won't do much, as Hawken has to recover it from all the way downtown. And D-Town will bring it back from the woodwork. Silent the first 50. D-Town has made it back around in time, and will find the goal for Southern Utah.
And there's part of me that's really starting to feel bad for D-Town because holy cow, can this kid not carry his team enough? This has been the D-Town show through and through, desperately trying to keep the team in the running, trying to put the team into a winning position, but the numbers and the odds just completely stacked against them in this moment. The pressure continues to stack. A minute 15 gone. Southern Utah thanks D-Town once again for this great performance we continue to get, but we need just a little bit more from the squad. And poor D-Town does it again. 2-point lead, 90 seconds missing. Southern Utah coming in hot, trying to win this 5th and final game.
To recover from that directly after that 50, I mean, the amount of time he had to take in order to recognize, okay, yeah, this is something I can follow and turn into a goal off that.
Yep.
It's just such impeccable game sense, such great reaction timing, and Southern Utah now getting dividends for a 2-goal lead. Not something we've seen a lot in this series, but when it has been around, it has lasted for quite some time. Can Southern Utah fully hold on to it this time, or will USC bring it back from the brink yet again? There is 3 minutes and 20 seconds now to decide that.
3 minutes and 20 seconds. This team fighting for a chance to win. Like you said, each win we've seen has been by 2 points, and it's usually been in the last couple of seconds somebody finds that extra point, but the point stands that the point does exist. Southern Utah 2-0, 2 minutes off the clock, and 3 players looking to find that 3rd goal. Once again, D-Town too little too late, misses out on that 3rd shot and has to keep themselves rolling at a 2-0.
Good catch by D-Town in the corner. Have to hold the defense down. That's a 51 by Hawken. D-Town attempted rush down. Doesn't have an angle, though. And Southern Utah attempts to hold it down here. They've been getting worse at keeping the ball in the territory, though. USC has done a great job recently this series of getting out of their corners and starting the offensive way earlier on in the drives from SUU. And it'll happen again. Rebel juggles it for as long as they can. Silent to D-Town missing. VTR off the wall, has a drag with it, has an angle, but also has 2 defenders staring in their face. 2 minutes to go. Silent for the back pass. Southern Utah still holding on, still no dents made, but so much life left in this team.
So much life left in this team, Tenrick, but no matter how much is life, they only have 1 minute and 54 seconds to show us what that life can do. D-Town has a lineup, Rebel has a disruption, and all 3 defenders boxing in Southern California's goal here. Hawken has the lineup, nobody there for the pitch, and it's a knock right into that far corner. Silent can't win the 1v1 against Rebel. Reset into center field. D-Town comes through once again with the help of Hawken. Can Southern California do anything with only 90 seconds left? A whiff, a miss, another one from VTR. Ball falls into a no man's land. Hawken grabs it, nobody in that goal. It could be a freebie if the follow through is there. There's the initial tap. The secondary misses it. The tertiary that sinks. A block from Rebel keeps them at 2, and only 80 seconds left for USC to put anything on the board in Game 5.
D-Town striking back onto Rebel for the demo, but USC still has the space gain, and that means miles for them at this stage, especially 70 seconds to go. And D-Town, another attempted drive. Big boom by Rebel. Can you pick something off of it? Huge line drive that Hawken is barely able to save, and yet again, SUU has enough neutral to get by, has enough to maybe win this series. That may be another one right there, but Squid gets back in time, and Southern Utah once again pays the price for not enough speed behind these mediocre shots that they've had to bring to the table once USC has had the time in the game to get their hands dirty. But they haven't been able to strike back. They haven't been able to score these goals in tandem. 35 seconds left now for USC to keep this series alive at the very least. But will this be an unceremonious 5th victory for Southern Utah, dragging themselves out after continuously having the first strike so far this series?
Hey, the games have been notably closer than I'm sure anybody on Southern Utah wanted, but a win is a win, and they are only 17 seconds away from giving themselves a 3-2 victory over Southern California. I'm glad we got such a close series back-to-back here, as Southern Utah has taken us all the way to Game 5 with only 2 seconds left. It is pretty mathematically impossible that Southern California gets the turnaround, so it will be a rather uneventful victory here. Southern Utah plays complete dominance in game number 5. They win in a 2-0 fashion, and they send California packing here this week at the EGF.
And now that means that Southern Utah will be officially a 7-6 record team, which is going positive for the first time, I think, all season. That'll officially put them above William and Mary, and also University of Southern California, who is now a 6-6 team. So Southern Utah rising up to 12th Now in the standings, having to break through that next crowd is going to be difficult and may not even be possible by the end of this season. But at the very least, you've put yourself at the very top of that middle of the pack, and that means a lot for the playoff seeding. With that, though, with how long this series is, we have to go directly into the next one, which means Septilence and I are both done for the night. Soy and Bullskunk are going to take you guys through the last block of tonight. Villanova and DePaul duking it out. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
At Villanova, we believe in community and in ourselves. We create, adapt, discover, and when confronted by uncertainty, we don't stand idly by. We never have. We get involved, lead by example, even when things are tough. Especially when things are tough. We take action because Villanovans are like that. Stronger together. Ignite change. Go Nova.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't. Driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
To know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here, we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
And you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here, we do.
Well, welcome to our final match of the night here in our spring break edition of EGFC. It's technically week 14, week 6 of the spring split, if you're keeping track. I'm Jeff. I've got Soy with me here for our one and only match to close things out.
Yeah, it should be a good one here. A Big East battle. Villanova, the Wildcats, going up against the DePaul Blue Demons. And, excuse me, these two schools, it should be very fun to see. These Big East squads are always so much fun to watch.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Big East always very competitive. Villanova coming in pretty hot. Other than a bump in the road that was Butler, they've been flawless here in the spring split. We're going to keep that trend going against DePaul. Good early start as Captain Horse comes through with an 8-second goal. 1-0 lead to Villanova.
Yeah, very quickly striking here. And what an angle that they find off the post and into. Very well done. And Villanova getting off to a quick start. Very good sign for this offense. And it's an offense that's really been clicking this season.
Yeah, they've done quite fantastic. And it's such a good legacy here for Horsey to lead. Horsey's been around for as long as I've been casting this Villanova squad. Now it's Demo. Leads to a goal here for DePaul, though, answering right back. They just collapse on this. It was a good pass from Patso, and then the Demo to clear the space. What a play from Patso.
Yeah, such a huge play there. And Joseph off the feet off the wall, too. Really well done on that capitalization. And Patso is usually that player that, for this DePaul squad, that's kind of, reformatted itself this season. Patso's usually been that second man in, being a bit of a striker for the squad. That's assist number 6 of the year for him, and very well done to set up that play.
I'm going to get a good touch here, trying to send it to the far post, but Villanova's able to make the read, get out of the zone, work their way back the other direction. Smoothface trying to work out of the middle. Bit of a collision. The ball's going to bounce awkwardly towards the wall where Golden Standard pushes it back for Chocolate Milk. That is Milky Boy. Let's not get things confused here. Captain Horse going in over the top, looking for a rebound shot. Perhaps a double tap will get neither as the ball just kind of spits out towards the corner. This one is denied by Joseph along the line. And DePaul looking to strike back in transition. Villanova quick to rotate, so they're able to recover pretty quickly here off of this.
Milky Boy's air dribble will set up his teammates here for a chance. Smooth Space gets back in time. Patso rotates back now. Joseph and Smooth Space move up. but Horsey is there in the corner. Great catch from him off the wall. Plenty of boost in the tank to go for this air dribble. Does he get a flip reset? Yes, he does. Smooth Space has to respond. Kicks it out for Joseph, who can't find the touch off the corner. Golden Standard subbing in, able to try and apply some pressure here, but not too much coming of it. Joseph will get the clear.
And a nice touch following. Joseph working out of the corner. Pat's going to come in, and Smooth Space is going to rotate back. All three collapse in. A dangerous move. One that Captain Horse might be able to capitalize on. Milky Boy coming up along the wall. Horse just goes into the corner with a bit of a back pass, and play gets disrupted in the middle. But a touch here is going to leave Golden Standard and Captain Horse through the sky. Gets denied. Defense holds. Rebound shot from afar is a little off the mark. And Patso, using the air dribble, get the heck out of dodge.
Pressure being applied by Villanova, right? Being able to kind of strike from distance, forcing DePaul back into their own third. So there's not really a great time for them to come out and challenge the ball head on and make it a 50-50. It's very much so Villanova making great use of their space, but when you see that 50-50 come through, when you see that cutoff play, it's typically DePaul getting the better of it. But right now, that's a dangerous pass in front, but the shot comes through a little late, but the rebound is going to be sent just barely wide by Milky, and now Golden Standard will have to chase down Joseph on this air dribble.
Going to try to just drop it into the top. Force able to get in the way of that one. Pats with a follow-up shot. Double commit from the defense. It's blocked. Follow-up blocked as well. Good read from Chocolate Milk. And now Captain Horse going back the other direction. Trying to put one upper 90. Patso is able to deny it. Ball still in front of the net. Milky Boy sneaks it past two. Gives Villanova the lead.
What an angle here. Patso with a great save, but then Golden Standard, the kick out is just so fast. And the angle that Chocolate Milk hits here to sneak that inside the near post with the defender right there. Incredible stuff there, and great recognition from Milky Boy in that moment.
What a collapse from Villanova. They're looking to do it here again. Centering pass right in the middle. Goes above Golden Standard. Horsey coming in from the third man slot. Ball stolen. Rolling back towards near post. A race. Smooth Space gets a piece of it. Slides to the other corner. DePaul aren't going to settle. Joseph steals one out of the sky. Patso working to the wall. Ball up into the air. Patso with his nice move. Ball in front of the net. Horse and Golden Standard move in to clear that out. A dangerous moment for Villanova with 70 seconds to go.
You're looking for a passing play off the wall here, but not on target. Joseph now rotating back around to play this ball, looking for Smooth Space. Milk cuts it out. Patso now moves it forward. Horsey is there to clear that ball away. And a good redirect, too, is going to set up Horsey for another chance. Drop down shot. Joseph makes the save. Keeps this at a one-goal game. 45 seconds remaining. The Blue Demons look to head the other way.
And some quick short passes is kept him at the midfield line, but eventually Villanova overwhelm him. Forced it into the corner. Clear comes through. DePaul try to chase it down. Captain Horse steals the boost. Joseph still wants a ball on this play. Rode that all the way to the wall, but Milky Boy going the other direction. Patso midfield. Joseph into the corner. 20 to go. Golden Standard grabs a big boost. Joseph trying to work along the outside. Villanova just cinch up tight there in the box. Able to get the clear. 1v1 going another direction with 8 on the clock. Chocolate Milk comes through with the steal. Ball in front of DePaul's net. It's exactly where the Blue Demons do not want it. They need this on the other side. And this ball is going to roll off the wall into the corner, solidifying a Villanova win here in game 1. Good start here for the Wildcats.
Yeah, very good start. And shout out to Golden Standard for picking up 2 assists. And very early on, they get the kickoff goal that gives Villanova the edge. But then that harsh read off the 50 off the corner sets up Milky for that second goal. So very well done by them. DePaul, it feels like they got a little bit anxious, I think, with a couple of their plays, right? It felt like they tried to force a lot of their action. Think of that pass off the wall with about a minute remaining, and even the shots coming through, right? Felt very easily readable for Villanova to just get a body in front of every play. If DePaul take that extra second, I think, that they have to make an extra touch, to go for something a little bit more creative, they might find a little bit more success, because everything felt just a little rushed in that instant.
And they were so close. They were so close to victory. I mean, it could, one minor pause, one moment of patience could have been the difference of sending us to OT. Going back to that, the ball just rolling across the line. DePaul some aggression early here in game number 2, trying to kick things off, but a clear. It's Villanova on the attack. DePaul able to get it out of the zone, going back the other way.
Demo comes through on Horsey. Patso's going to win the 50 as well. Smooth Space is in this corner. Can he recenter it? Tried to use the ramp there, but it was well read there. I believe that was Golden Standard getting in front of that one. But this is going to be an open net. The infield pass to Chocolate Milk makes it 1-0 here, and Villanova once again strikes first.
It was I'm a Horse, able to win out against 2 along the wall. Finds a wide open Milky Boy. Lands that pass perfectly, and this is one of the things that this squad's been working on. They're talking about building the synergy and working on the awareness of each other so they can make quick, accurate passing. That's exactly what we saw from Horsey right there.
Very well done by them. But Smooth Space gets around 2 here. They're going to roll this one up the wall, looking to drop down the pass. Patso is there. Shot is on, but Horsey able to make that save. Joseph tried to keep it in, but Horsey's there to punish. This one's dangerously close. Off the crossbar and pinched out. Golden Standard just got there too early, and now the counterattack coming through for DePaul. There's another save from Horsey. Patso and Smooth Space in the same spot here. Joseph looking to pinch in and help, and they'll be able to keep this one at the midfield line, but only for a moment. Kicked off the corner once more. Milk is there, goes up for it, gets bumped off of it, and Patso will push it out.
It was met at the midfield by Golden Standard. Then it just goes right back into the DePaul half. Villanova continue to maintain control. Did I say that? Joseph with a decent clear. Can DePaul do anything with it? Joseph's just going to chase down their own ball. We are all tied up. 3:20 on the clock.
Joseph, the leading scorer of this DePaul squad, finds another one here in transition. Like you said, they get the booming clear, and then they just, like basketball, follow your shot, follow your clear, see what you can get off the back of it. And they're able to do so in that moment. So tied at 1 apiece now. DePaul's offense been pretty consistent about finding 1 or 2 goals every game. The problem is these high-flying, track meet styles of games have been very difficult for DePaul to catch up to. So they can't afford to let Villanova's offense continue to work here, and they're doing a pretty good job of maintaining possession here and getting some consistent offense. This is a chance in front,
yes.
And 2 players are going to tap that one in, muscle it through on the last goal line.
Yeah, you're just saying that DePaul's actually been doing a pretty good job maintaining Villanova here in the past 60 seconds. And really, it's been nice to see the growth from this DePaul squad. It's resulted in a lead here as they're able to strike back. And for the first time in the series, go up against Villanova. And this Blue Demon squad, this is a team that's worked really hard to kind of get back to the level that they know this school is capable of, this program is capable of.
I mean, this is a DePaul organization that has, for the past 2 years, been to the grand finals of the Big Eastern Conference. They have not won the conference, but they're making grand finals every time. And now you're seeing, with new names and new faces, can they get back there again is the big question. And you see those glimpses, those moments where you feel like, yes, they can. As here, Joseph makes a stellar stop, and now Smooth Space moves this ball forward. But the question is, can they keep it together, right? You see these moments, but those moments have been few and far between sometimes this spring split, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, and there's moments there where defense just kind of crumbles a little bit, left too big of a gap. Villanova get a solid look. DePaul, fortunately for them, able to keep it out. Another chance here. Big save from Joseph right in front of the net. Ball up. Rebound denied as Patso is able to chase that one down. And DePaul stays strong enough to maintain their lead.
Joseph with a huge save, and another one here inside the box. Villanova just continue to throw this ball at the backboard, and there's always a player ready to take the shot, but there's too many bodies in the net, but they're out of boost this time around, and Milk knows it. The dribble into the aerial makes it 2-2.
Joseph and Patso just kind of got frozen on each other. No, that was going to be a bad bounce. Tried to just stop. Sure enough, it rolls right into Milky Buzz Hood, who's got the boost to go up and over, to put on the fancy footwork and come up with the tying goal.
Big goal there, and now maybe a chance the other way. They tried to fake him out, but Patso going to be stopped by Golden Standard. Smooth space now moving forward. Horsey will leave it for Milk, and Joseph will now have to opt to play this one softly at the back wall. He doesn't get there in time, and Golden Standard nearly punished him for it. Horsey was expecting a touch there, but none came through. So DePaul will once again get a clear out of their own zone, and a good kind of redirect by Joseph, although it goes to the corner, helps break through the midfield line.
2 taps from the defense. Smooth space keeps it in. It goes over Joseph. Patso's coming in for a shot, but just not a whole lot of oomph on it. Demo on to Joseph means this ball should be heading back towards the red half. Yep, it's Golden Standard alongside Horsey pushing into the corner. A bit of a 2v2. Smooth space wants to clear. Not going to get it. Milky denied some out of the skies. 30 seconds. We're tied up here in game 2 of this best-of-5 series. Patso, Smooth space with a light touch over the top. Horsey, a little disorganized, but is able to recover to get that ball out of there.
When Smooth space going to keep it in, has a little bit of boost to work with. Can't win that challenge, though. Patso baits one out, has an angle, maybe a chance. Golden Standard with a huge save now. Short time remaining. Kicks it back outside the box, and it's going to get cleared here. Patso's going to dump it right back down in, though. This is a powerful clear off the wall towards the corner and to the ground, and we've got our first overtime of this series.
Guys, DePaul School is looking better and better every week. Oh, bad bounce there, though. The shot from distance, blocked by 2. Directed into the corner. No follow-up, at least not directly following the shot. That was a bit redundant. Horsey with a dangerous touch. It's going to land back at Patso's lap. Horsey comes along the wall to sneak it back down into the red half. Goes over Joseph's head, but Joseph's able to grab the boost. DePaul is going to recover on this and immediately go back on the assault. That one goes up. Golden Standard's able to get the touch. Good follow-up from Chocolate Milk.
Patso's going to drop it back down. Some dangerous chances here. Really, again, Villanova threatening that backboard play. It's been open a couple of times, but DePaul's defense has been able to make these stops inside their own box. Now, Horsey up for it. Smooth space this time is able to get to that backboard and get the nice touch out. They're able to pick up that mid boost as well. Golden Standard sweeping across. Patso, but the 50 from Chocolate Milk is too strong. Right on target, and Villanova steal game 2.
Oh. Chocolate Milk just absolutely dunked on DePaul. Minute 4 to go. Everybody caught out of position. Milky Boy's not going to miss those. What a finish there to game number 2. Milky Boy coming through with a hat trick when it's all said and done.
Fantastic stuff, and in that moment, Patso gets 50'd and loses the challenge, and it just happens to be on net. But it's because Villanova just kind of found that next gear offensively, got a little bit more speed, were able to read that play a little bit faster, and it comes to with that comes with the territory of, you know, a team that has been kind of put on their heels a little bit, right? It feels like every time DePaul's on defense, 2 or 3 members are constantly making goal line saves, just barely able to get off of their own goal line and come out. And I think Patso was starting to trend that way, starting to go back and try and get into position to make that save, then realize, I have to challenge this. This is a free ball. This is at the midfield. I have to go back even though I'm the last man in. And just that second of hesitation of realizing, oh, this is the play I should do instead, frees up that challenge. And unfortunately for DePaul, it goes awry, but that's the difference right now, right? That level of comfort, that level of speed that Villanova can hit, it's giving them that slight edge in these kind of neutral interactions.
And forcing these mistakes, right? DePaul feels like they have to up their speed, and as such, just kind of got in a positional error there defensively. And Patso didn't realize it until it was too late. DePaul not done here, though. It was a very competitive game, too. And DePaul crashed in the net earlier in game number 3. They were able to grab the lead before giving up 2 goals to Villanova to eventually lose it in OT. Looking to sneak the lead away. Joseph not able to get one. Patso with a good touch will keep it in. This one goes to the corner. Patso off the wall. Smooth space with a look off the mark.
So eager to make these plays that they're getting ahead of themselves. The angles are there, but they're pressed too far forward. You got to give yourself more space to take that shot and find a better angle here. even, Patso has been really doing a fantastic job of trying to push the pace, but there have been times where he's just too far forward and the pass just gets launched over his head, either via power or just getting into position too early. They've got to give themselves that extra bit of time to make these offensive plays happen, because the angles are there to take these shots. But Villanova is kind of dodging bullets because of their overeagerness.
But the patience has kept the ball in the blue half for now. Horsey gets checked midfield. Ball drops back in front of the net. Joseph is able to beat Chalky Milk to it. Into the corner it goes. Patso for this one. Milky Boy doesn't lose that 50. Joseph from the skies. That one's going off the backboard. Patso needs to get turned around. Horsey's going to greet him there, and ball spits out all the way to the other side. Oh.
And Milky Boy's going to get one here. And let's take a look at this replay, because Smooth Space, oh, it's the kick out off the corner. Yeah, when you go for that ball in the corner, you have to make sure it kicks out, not in towards the infield. And unfortunately for him, he just takes that turn a little bit too close, so it kicks out on the left side of his car.
Yep, exactly.
In that situation. And that's just a matter of the angles not coming through there in the moment for DePaul. An unfortunate spot, and Villanova jumping on the little mistakes.
Hey, and that's what I was just thinking too, is DePaul perhaps again rushing, and as such are making these little errors. And that's been the difference maker. This game has been tied enough. It's been those little tiny mistakes have been the game-winning difference makers here thus far. DePaul on the attack, and they're going to lose control of it once again. Horsey coming in with some speed over the top, able to dance around one. The drop off, the shot is deflected wide. Milky Boy still attacking it off the wall, finds the angle, and the second goal here in Game 3.
Milky Boy, a handful of goals already, and this is Joseph, right? Again, looks like he's got a read on the ball, but then the extra touch on the corner comes through, and all Joseph can do is react to the play, and the backflip is not the touch he's looking for. He's just trying to do his best to stop the play from happening, but it's a fraction of a second too late, and this is the difficulty when you go up against Villanova, right? Is that you have to have this level of almost tempered aggression in picking and choosing your moment to be overly aggressive and be passive, play back. And it's hard for DePaul to get a read on when to do each. But still, it feels like a couple of these plays are unforced errors that Villanova's been able to pounce on.
After a couple, DePaul finally able to clear their own zone. Attack in front of the net. Horse is able to maintain. Kicking it out, Gold Standard into the corner is going to snag the boost. Joseph desperately needed that, but Chocolate Milk can't wrestle in the ball, so Patso goes the other direction with it. Smooth Space, the shot is good. Dead center of the net. DePaul have cut the lead.
Just power it through. Patso sends it off the wall, and look how much space Smooth Space has to launch this one. 73 miles per hour, like you said, to the center of the net, but anything over 60 is just near untrackable. It's just all reaction in that moment, and that is so hard to react to. Very well done by DePaul to find that one window, and they've cut the lead in half.
90 seconds to go. A lot of contact down here in the DePaul end. Off the wall from Smooth Space to Patso. Back to Smooth Space into the corner. Oh, Horsey knocks him off the boost. But Joseph is able to get a good touch, send it to the middle. Smooth Space screams across to convert that, or to keep that from being a goal. Chocolate Milk's going to take a touch here as Villanova slows it back down on the approach, leaves it for Horsey, who nails that one home.
So the play here from Milk is insane because he's coming across. We watched his perspective. He swept across the goal line, and instead of going for demos, trying to open up space, he says, no, we got to play this before DePaul does. And he beats them to the punch, kicks it back out, and the man rotating through is, oh wow, they're just going to get one off a kickoff here as well. Not even time to analyze the replay, but Milky Boy is just running rampant in this series.
Yeah, Milky Boy's been on a tear. Riley's off enjoying a vacation. This is actually spring break here for Villanova. So there is no Riley on the pitch. Riley is out enjoying the beaches of Mexico. And Milky Boy has really stepped up in Riley's absence today. 7 goals on the day, back-to-back hat tricks in games 2 and 3. And has really put Villanova in a good spot here in game 3 of this series.
His game sense is just immaculate right now. Just knowing where to be constantly. And the control that he has, being able to recognize when a defender is, susceptible to a demo or in the wrong spot for a play, but maybe Smooth Space can come up with something here to help DePaul back into this one. There's short time remaining, but Patso's shot is blocked out. Joseph to chip it right back in. Smooth Space is there, but Milk with another huge block, and Horsey gonna air dribble this one away around Patso. Joseph on the intercept, but the shot goes wide.
Yeah, I mean, there's just that killer awareness from Milky Boy once again, right in front of the net, able to make the super quick read off of that centering pass. Little touch here from Gold Standard's going to leave an open door, and up. Captain Horse says no, and is just going to deny DePaul anything. Villanova will not give them an inch. It's a clean 3-0 here for the Wildcats in week 14, excuse me.
And you got to feel good about that one for the Wildcats, right? These Big East games are so important, so impactful in the overall standings. And Villanova having a career season, right? It feels like this Villanova squad, finally able to hit that double-digit win mark. They've come so close numerous times, but they've never hit it. And now hitting that double-digit win mark is got to feel very, very good, especially against a team like DePaul, who, very consistent program, consistently brings solid players to the table and always gives every top team a run for their money. To 3-0 them in this fashion, fantastic to see.
I'm loving the tenacity out of DePaul. They're definitely improving week in and week out. Patso was saying that at first the losses were hard, but expectations were tempered, and now they just focus on each game week to week and each improvement. And you can tell they've really started to grow. But Villanova have been on an absolute tear. And continue that this week, even with one of their starters on vacation. They still look solid. Out of the 6 games we've had here in spring, they have 3-0'd 3 of them. So they continue to impress. It sounds like we got an interview coming in, Soy.
Yeah, I believe we've got an interview with one of the members of Villanova, so we'll get that set up momentarily. We'll cut to a short break to get that underway. But yeah, I mean, fantastic stuff to both these schools. DePaul, unfortunately, like we said, back to the drawing board. But we'll get that interview underway with Villanova after this break.
All right, we've got I'm a Horse on the line, captain here of the Villanova squad. Hey, thanks for taking the time to come talk with us. Congrats on the dub.
Thank you, Bull Skunk. It's a pleasure to be here and got the win.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to you, my friend. Always good to talk to you. And I mean, you had a lot of traveling today, is what you were telling me. You were visiting some family and just drove in like right before the match starts.
Villanova is on spring break right now, so this game was at a bit of an unfortunate time, but fortunately got to campus on time and ready to. I think that me and the team are ready to play.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so. Proof is in the pudding. And where was Riley? While y'all are putting in all this hard work, Riley is off on a beach celebrating somewhere. Well,
Yeah,
come on now.
Precisely. A couple weeks ago, he told us that he would be unavailable to make today's match due to his vacation in Punta Cana. Shout out Riley, but also shout out Brandon, aka Golden Standard, filling in for him perfectly.
Yeah, Golden Standard did a fantastic job in this series as well. How do you feel about his kind of performance? Because he hasn't gotten that starting role every week, but it feels like he's really improved every time he's gotten to see the spotlight.
Yeah, playing with Brandon has been a significant pleasure of mine. It's been awesome to kind of see him improve. I know about a year ago he joined the team, made his first appearance against UConn, and being able to watch him grow week in and week out, even now as we play through Christmas break, we were playing through spring break. He's putting in the hours, and it happens to show. And next year when the seniors leave the squad, Riley and myself leave the squad, it's going to be up to the rising juniors. That's Golden Standards and Milky Boy to carry on the legacy.
And you talk about how you've enjoyed watching that growth and that y'all aren't going to be around. So it begs the question. So, I mean, is there a favorite memory you've had here at Villanova? I know we only got 2 more games in regular season, and then I won't get the opportunity to cast you on the squad anymore. And it makes my heart sad. So I got. Is there like a favorite memory, something that pops into your head from your time at playing for Villanova?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is playing at the Big East Championships my freshman year with Riley and Zen. Shout out Patrick. That was in New York. That was obviously a blast. We got to play all the other Big East teams. But I would say the highlights beyond that are having Milky Boy join the team and Golden Standard join the team around the same time this time last year, and then realistically any game 5 situation, those are win or lose, those happen to be the most exciting. So probably any of those would work as my favorite moment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey, truly always a pleasure to talk with you, my friend. Yeah, we've given a lot of shout outs already, but you know the drill. This is the time. If there's any more, by all means.
Sure. So shout out Save the Bees, coach manager. Shout out Mr. Michael Hay, who kind of coordinates esports on campus. Shout out Villanova University, playing basketball right now. Go Cats. Also, shout out Riley. Shout out my team, Golden Standard Milky Boy. Shout out DePaul University for playing an excellent match. And shout out to EGF in the Big East for everything they've done for us these past 4 years.
Well, awesome, awesome. Thank you, my friend. Congrats on the dub, and fingers crossed this won't be the last time I get to talk to you.
Yeah, fingers for me as well. Thank you, guys.
Have a good night. All right, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. There you go. That was I'm a Horse, captain of the Villanova squad. Soy, I love talking to the players. I love talking to Captain Horse specifically. Always a good time.
I mean, he's fantastic to hear from, right? I mean, he's just a very, very personable guy, as you can tell. And when you watch him play, right, over the years, we've seen him really grow as a competitor. It's been so much fun to see. And to see Villanova really hit their stride this season, it's so much fun to watch.
11-3 on the season. Quite a job. Quite a legacy there for Mr. Horse and Riley as well, enjoying his vacation off of Mexico. But hey, that is going to leave it to the end here for tonight. It's an early night here, spring break week. So we're going to let y'all go enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thank you for hanging out with us. Been an absolute blast. We'll see you next week.